Okay, so transfer paper is really fun. All you have to have is your drawing and the transfer paper itself. Now, some of them have a transparent sheet on top. You just want to remove that sheet so you can see the dark graphite paper itself, and that's the transfer paper. Transfer paper has two sides, has a really dark side and it has kind of a charcoal gray side. You want to put the dark side down, like so that's the side that's facing down. The charcoal side is what faces you. And then you're going to be taking your paper and you want to make sure that you're lining up the paper with your frame. So I'm looking at the corners and the edges and making sure it's reasonably within that 6x8 frame. And then what you're going to need is you're going to need a pencil or a pen. And I have a bunch of different pens on my desk, so I chose a different pen each time I did the tracing. And I also have some straight lines, so I'm using a ruler too. The ruler also kind of helped to keep my paper from moving around too much. You do have to watch that your paper doesn't shift on there while you're trying to trace over your lines. So you can do this with a pencil, you can do it with a ballpoint pen. So that's what I'm doing, taking a ballpoint pen, even if it fades, like the ink fades while you're working on it, it still will transfer your image because it's about putting pressure on there. So that black sheet of paper that we're working on is essentially a paper that's been coated with a lot of graphite. Graphite is the same material that you have in your pencil. So when we finish and we lift off, it's actually a pencil drawing underneath. So you want to take your time while you're doing this, and you want to make sure you get everything. Even if you miss a spot, you can go back in later and either retrace that area on top, or you can freehand it in so you have that spot. And this will mean that we have 3 identical images on your sheet of paper. So I'm going to speed it up so you can see it swiftly. So this is all in time lapse, but you do want to take your time with it. You want to make sure you go over every line that you have there in your drawing. And just be careful with it because that's how the final piece will end up looking, is exactly how you traced it. All right, so now we get to check it. You're going to take your drawing, put that to one side. It's still going to be used, so don't discard it. And then you're going to kind of gently peel back that graphite paper, and there's your drawing. It should be exactly the same as the image that you traced. If you missed a spot, like I noticed I missed a few lines in there, then you can either drop that back into place, the graphite in your drawing, or you can just freehand it in if it's just a minor thing. And you're going to be doing that 3 different times. So you end up with 3 identical images. And it does erase. If you press really hard, it's harder to erase. Like you can see I'm like working at it, trying to get it to erase up. Even if it's there, you're going to be putting lots of paint on top of here. So we're going to be eventually covering all those lines. But it is a cool way of transferring an image so you don't have to draw the same thing over and over again.